Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us in the world. Great to have you here on another El Terreno final presentation from our interns, Eliza and Ava. Really exciting project that these young women have been doing over this summer, looking at the myths and legends of the volcanoes of Ecuador. There's lots of horror stories which you hear, and there's even a book of horror stories, but there's some more hopeful ones as well, which is what these guys were looking into and have done a really great job of researching, learning about the area, spending lots of time in the field, and then have found a way to birth it and bring it into life into a physical, tangible product to make an impact into local communities while also developing some entrepreneurial skills along the way. It was quite an adventure throughout the time. There was a lot of uncertainty, but we got to the other end, and I'm really, really proud of what these guys have done. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to them and let them tell you all about it.
All right. So, our group, we titled ourselves the Volcano Storytelling Group. This is a picture of us at Mount Chimborazo. And yeah, so for context, Ava and I are both we're here for 8 weeks. And we started out with the goal to create some sort of educational material that surrounded stories of Chimborazo. And we started and we had no clue what we were going to do basically. So it was very open and exciting because we had a lot of just like opportunities in front of us.
During the first 3 weeks, we just spoke to the shareholders and the beneficiaries. So we were identifying their wants and their needs and what kind of materials would work best for them. After doing a lot of interviews and going a lot of places, we decided on our target age range being from ages 8 to 12 because we wanted to tell more in-depth stories. So we thought older age would be able to engage with it. We wanted to do multiple translations. When we spoke to people, there was a need for that. People are interested in learning English. We wanted to preserve Quechua. So we decided on multiple translations, and we decided to have creative and educational elements. Specifically, the schools and the nursery, everyone was asking for drawing. They said the kids really like drawing and coloring. So we definitely wanted to include that and interactive things, elements, games.
So now that we had all of this information, we needed to narrow it down. So we located our goals in three kind of ideas. We wanted to preserve and celebrate and promote Indigenous culture. We also wanted another thing the schools kind of taught us was that they wanted educational materials about nature and also, of course, reading engagement with any age range, but we decided 8 to 12.
For the project design, we did an ideation workshop where we narrowed it down and we chose to do a brochure for many factors. For cost, we wanted to be versatile and be able to use in different environments, schools, and then we ultimately decided on restaurants and national park. So we wanted to include the volcano story, interactive games, and then facts about Chimborazo's environment. And then we knew that there needed to be a website or a digital component to it to add more things even after the brochure is printed. So we decided to do that by using a QR code. The QR code, when scanned, goes to different translations. It goes to a longer version of the story, and it has the answer key, and it has a school version with vocabulary, more comprehension questions, with the goal of being used by a teacher in a classroom setting.
And then our next problem was how we were going to pay for the illustration and the printing of this brochure. And so we came up with the sponsorship, or we landed on the sponsorship business model where a business would pay $30 and receive 100 copies, social media presence in the El Terreno Instagram, and their own PDF so they could then in the future print the brochure again. And then on top of that, we did a one-to-one model. So for every one copy that went to a business, one copy would go to a school or the library or the national park for free. So since we ended up getting 9 businesses, and then we had 1,100 copies left to distribute to the schools and library and national park.
So our last week after securing the sponsors, so we would, go and ask them if they're interested. So after that, they would send us our logo, and give us the money. So we had them printed. So in the final week, everything was completed. The graphic design was done. The illustrations were done. So we printed 2,000 copies, and then we distributed them to all 9 businesses and to the library and to the school, Nueva Esperanza. So yes, and we even have more copies now that will go to more schools and to the national park in the future.
Yeah, so I think in hindsight, our biggest barrier was the time limit because we do still, in fact, have copies to distribute. And that kind of goes into like, we see for the future, people distributing the rest of the copies to other schools and to the national park. And then on like a bigger scale, we hope other interns could come in and write more stories. And in any format, we have the website, so that feels pretty lucrative in that it could turn into kind of anything at this point. Or they could continue our model, which is like the brochure with the sponsorship to cover the cost. We are very grateful that the sponsorship model worked so well. And that was one of the main things we were worried about was the money, and it worked out very well. And again, for the future, I'll say that the website, there was a email component where kids could talk to their grandparents and submit their own stories. And I think that is also a great one to continue and look for in the future.
Yeah, and like Eliza said, we have more room to grow in our project. We didn't decide the idea of the brochure until further in, which is where the time component came in. It ended up being okay, but we have only focused on one story, and I think we did it very well. It has all the translations, all the activities, but in the future, interns could maybe do different stories about volcanoes. And yeah, there's a lot more left that this project could become.
Okay, that's our presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Fantastic, guys. Thanks so much. A bit of a whirlwind tour of all of the work that you did in 8 weeks. Thanks so much for sharing all of that. Yeah, so if anybody's got a question, we'd really love to hear from all of you. In the meantime, while people think about that, I've got one myself. A couple myself. Start with the question. You gave a little bit of an overview of the tasks that you did. I'd like to hear from each one of you. What do you think the biggest challenge that you faced that you were able to overcome?
I mean, we kind of have been hinting at it, but the beginning was very like, I felt a lot of like hesitation and apprehension, because I just had absolutely no clue what I felt like I had no clue what I was doing. But then once you start doing it, it becomes really easy. And at the end, we did it, and we got over that apprehension and that concern.
I think my biggest obstacle is 2 things, which is the language barrier and making sure that you're honoring and respecting when you're working in a culture that is not your own. So I think it was very helpful to talk to everyone, and like we were met with a lot of enthusiasm, which was good, and it helped me have more confidence to work on the project. And we had a lot of help with the language, so then I was confident just to be able to make the activities and know that I would get support for translating. But at first, I was definitely nervous about those two things.
And to follow on from that question, what do you think the main skill that you developed that you didn't have before coming to El Terreno? What did you learn?
I think for me, more confidence, like going and talking to businesses and asking them for money was something I have like never ever done or thought I would be comfortable doing. And I think not necessarily a skill, but just like a realization that it's a lot easier and people are a lot more enthusiastic than sometimes you would assume.
I would say that I learned specific organization skills for, like, for example, the Gantt chart and the business model, and learning how to, even like an ideation workshop, I think I learned skills of how to narrow down lots and lots and lots of ideas into something that's actionable, and you can be able to predict the result and like follow that thought line. So I think that was helpful to learn those skills.
Great, thank you. Has anybody else got a question they'd like to ask?
Sure. Hi, everybody. This is Ava's dad, Patrick. First of all, thank you, Joshua, for this great opportunity. It's just great to see how much Ava has grown, and you guys have done a great job. So thank you. And the fact that you leave after 8 weeks with something tangible to contribute to the community is just outstanding. I'm wondering, can you go back a couple of slides and just if we look at the brochure a little bit more?
Maybe should we pull up the PDF of the brochure that has everything?
Yeah.
Well, I just was wondering if you guys could talk to me a little bit more. This is the same one that you sent me, Ava, so I have read it, but can you talk to me a little bit more about the content and what really you hope that the readers will gain from it?
Yes, one moment. I think it's in the WhatsApp thing.
Okay.
The WhatsApp chat, like if you go up, Guido sent his draft, I think.
But if everybody's familiar with it, that's okay. Maybe you can just answer the question a little bit. I don't want to.
It would be great. It would be great to have it up
But I
actually
got
because
it.
we're going to be putting this on our YouTube channel, so it would be lovely.
Sure.
Eliza's got it.
Maybe. Okay, you guys are.
Okay, Eliza, I think I found it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And I love that you're using a Gantt chart, Ava. You didn't tell me that. Great.
Eliza,
Great way to approach something.
My browser can't.
Okay, wait. So I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
If you can put it in the group, I can share it as well.
Okay.
Eliza,
I sent it on WhatsApp.
I can't share it because
Can you put it in the group, because I think they've only got the draft in the.
Oh, it might be a.
Okay, great. Second. So you guys, in the meantime, you guys can start talking.
Okay. Well, you fold this up, and one is the front and one is the back. So this part is the front, and Eliza has written the story, and I have made the activity. So Eliza, maybe you can talk about the story.
Yeah, so the story is I mean, we heard so many stories the first 3 weeks. We were just going through and collecting any sort of thing we could find online or anything people would tell us. Um, and one that kept coming up was like there's a secret lost golden city that's under Chimborazo or inside of Chimborazo. And kind of the basis of every single story about the golden city was you could only find it if you were like pure of heart and if you like either like respected nature or respected your culture or respected your like fellow human beings. And from there, every iteration of it had like a little bit like something a little different. So this story, like in the end, isn't true. Can't like it would be kind of impossible to be true to um and yeah any a lot
Yeah.
of the iterations we heard. Um, but basically, to stick to the environmentalism theme, we made the conclusion um, that you could only find the city if you loved nature and if you respected nature. And it ends with the main character teaching her family about why you should love and respect nature. And so then all the activities and facts kind of contribute to that as well.
Yeah, so well, we had Guido, the illustrator. He chose those 3 images, which I think were very cool. And the last one you can see, you can color in, is black and white. Yeah, and it just shows the story of a protagonist, and she lost her bowl and she can't find it, and she goes in a mountain and she sees a beautiful golden city, and then when she leaves with her bowl, and to prove to her family that she went there, she's given golden ear of corn, which is another element that was in some other versions of the story. And then here on the back, we have 3 comprehension questions that kids can answer with their families. And yeah, they're discussion questions. You can talk with your family. You could talk about them in school. They could be writing prompts. And then you can see all of our 9 patrons at the bottom there. They have their logos. And so, yeah, those are the places where there's 100 copies at each of these locations. And then at the bottom is, yes, the QR code that goes to the different translations and more expanded versions. And then on the top, sorry for all the scrolling around. At the top, I wrote this part about the ecosystem, so the kids can learn about the different animals, the plants, the permos, how things all function. And then at the bottom is a promise. I promise like to respect nature, to stay on the path. And then for the activities, after you read both the story and that part, there's a crossword where you answer questions, about what you read to solve the puzzle. And then there's a little riddle, like a cipher, the 1-to-1, what is it called? I don't know, alphabet to number translation. And you can solve the riddle of who is the identity of the gray-haired man in the story. So we tried to make it thought-provoking and educational together. I think we came to a good mix of that in the end.
I agree, and I love the story. So great job in the story. The activities are great. The illustrations are neat, and having the connectivity to the local area is fantastic. So I think you guys really, really did a nice job tying all of this together. So congratulations again, and thank you again, Joshua.
A pleasure, and I would say that's also a good opportunity to invite Christian, who was the coordinator of the project, to maybe say a few words if you have any comments or questions, because he was the man helping these guys directly.
No, thank you, Joshua, and congratulations, Eva and Eliza. It was a very big pleasure working with you. I admire all the proactivity you did during the project and all your ideas. It was really, really interesting and really, really a pleasure working with you. So I have a question. What's a moment from this project you will always remember?
I think learning the stories, that's like one of my favorite things to like I've like come home and I won't stop talking about them. And it's kind of one of my favorites to like tell and share and like that sort of thing. So I'll remember like the stories and the themes of them for yeah.
Thank you,
I
Eliza.
think, oh, sorry. I think I'll definitely remember everything we did with the community. It was really interesting to see different schools, how they're different from each other. I love seeing the library and all the different businesses. I think it's a very interesting, yeah, perspective to gain from talking to so many different people. So yeah, that was very fun. And I was, like I said, very grateful and like impressed and surprised that the businesses, not surprised, but I was very happy that they all decided to chip in and help us. I think it made me very hopeful and excited. So yeah, it was a very fun project and I liked how integrated we were with the community.
Yes, I was very happy too. I don't know if in the past, maybe Joshua, I think it's the first time we have sponsorship from businesses from Guaranda. So I think it was an innovation here at El Terreno. And also again, congratulations, Eliza and Eva, for the idea and for all the work you have done here. And I have a final question is what's one piece of advice you could give to the future interns taking on a similar project?
I definitely wish I had like trusted our abilities a lot more. I don't think it necessarily held us back, but I think it was like something that I worried about way too much. Like I was like, I'm no way we're gonna like I don't know. And then it was really easy. And so I think just like relax and have fun and trust yourself. Yeah.
Mine is definitely very related to Eliza's, which is in my own head when I would have ideas, I would like already be telling myself, oh, that won't work because of whatever reasons. So I would say just be very more open-minded and you can share and then people obviously will collaborate with you and have other ideas that can make yours work. So I think it's always better to give a pitch, as we kept saying, pitch your idea and maybe there's a way to make it work. I would say everyone is very helpful in making things happen. So don't be your own obstacle. Just tell everyone they can help you.
Thank you so much, Eva and Eliza.
Thank you.
Really well said. And yeah, I'd echo what Christian says in the sense of like most people come and they want to deliver something for the community. Maybe they do some fundraising, but you guys really took another way, like more of a professional way of how do you develop a creative product and how do you bring it into the world? How do you finance it? How do you find the collaborators? And you made it happen, you know? So I think you also leaving a model that people can follow in future. And I admire you guys for taking on this project with all of the enthusiasm and collaboration that you guys did and to come up with something absolutely amazing. Okay, so I think we might leave it there. I'll leave the space open. Has anyone got any final questions or comments they'd like to add before we close?
Thank you as well, Christian. I know we exchanged messages and thank you for your assistance and help. It was great experience.
Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, sorry, my mom wants to make a comment.
Come on in, Mum.
Hi. I was listening from the hallway.
Okay, here, you can hold it.
Okay, I just want to say Ava grew a lot there and she made a great friend and we're so proud of her and thankful for what you're doing.
Thank you.
That's all. It's great.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for
Thank
trusting her with us. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there. Well done, guys. Thank you again for joining a week after you actually left us as well and making that time. We appreciate it. And wishing you all the best going forwards with university in all the different parts of the world where you're going to be. And we'll be speaking again soon. For everyone else who's watching this video, thanks so much. Until next time.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.